Welcome into episode 11 of the Tony's Talks podcast. I'm Jeremy, joined by nearly the full cast this week. I'll start with our star of our show, Uncle Tony.
How you doing?
Definitely have to edit that in post, but how are you, Uncle?
Awesome.
How has your last 2 weeks been since we recorded?
Eventful.
Eventful?
A lot of work. A lot of issues.
Uncle's been on the grind last couple
and a
of
lot
weeks.
of fun at my in-laws' house.
All right, well, I'm happy to hear that. Oh,
In-law, I mean brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law's house, our house. Okay. John, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well today. Just, visited some friendos up in the Bean. Had some nice brunch this morning.
He means Boston.
Yes. I didn't know
Beantown,
if
baby.
I was allowed to say that.
You can say Boston.
Wheeled down here. Dropped the kids off at the pool. And now we're here on camera feeling fresh as a daisy.
Is that what you had to stop at your apartment for?
That's exactly what I had to stop at
You're
my
hearing-
apartment for.
You're hearing my lovely
You know,
girlfriend.
we need to normalize poop talk, okay? Honestly, it's
We're gonna
been
go for-
stigmatized for so long. But thanks for joining us today.
If you'd
folks.
rather dive deep into poop talk, we can do that after the intros. But
We totally
Hopefully
don't
not.
need to take a deep dive.
the voice you just heard was my lovely girlfriend, Jenna. So
Oh, hi.
how are you doing, Jenna?
Good. Spent the weekend with Mans.
That's
Jeremy.
me.
Who's man's?
That's Jeremy.
Jeremy or the guy from
Oh
the
my
bar?
God. This is brutal. This is
Just
brutal.
kidding.
We don't need to do
This
this.
is brutal.
With Derek?
Was it?
All right.
No, I'm chilling.
Good. I'm happy to hear
My
that.
feet do hurt though. I when I worked last night,
Are your dogs barking?
my dogs were barking.
Her- she came home with some sweaty dogs last
Well,
night.
ask
for
Jeremy.
Sure.
Oh.
Okay, I did 12,000 steps during my shift last night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So ask
I mean,
Jeremy. My feet have been cramping all weekend
yeah.
because
I got the under the couch with her feet, so
my
we were
brother
cuddling.
was formerly the
Yum.
manager of the restaurant that I work at, and now he's not there. So now I just be bussing day in and day
Jenna
out.
runs that shit. No.
No, I don't.
Little
I'm
bit.
not a busser. I'm not a
Be
busser.
bussin'.
I'm not a busser, but I do be bussing.
Darian and Peter are in our back row here again as usual. How are we today, Darian?
Doing well.
How have you been?
No.
Oh, I thought this was a group intro.
Well, it will be
Been
Peter.
doing well. We went to a little flea market type thing today.
Oh.
Yeah. hmm
Oh.
It was
that in the great capital of our state?
it was in the great capital of Providence, the creative capital, and
Is that what it's called?
something like that.
It's news to me.
Yeah, I mean it was a good time for the ladies. I was kind of just
Oh, you
there
were
for
just
moral
there?
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this cool hat.
They were like, hey, drop us off and drive around the block for 20
Word.
minutes and pick us up.
I was actually walking around, and yeah, I mean I didn't feel out of place because there were a lot of gentlemen with their ladies there, so I'm sure they were suffering as much as I was.
Peter was able to keep
Hey,
his masculinity
you had
intact for the
fun.
afternoon.
I had lots of fun.
He had a very important job
What was
of
that?
holding my bags. And he did a great job.
Wow.
Was it a flea bag? Because you were at a flea market.
Flea
All right.
bag.
How you been, Jeremy?
Sorry, that
Oh,
was brutal.
I've been great, Uncle. Last
Yeah,
couple
how was
weeks.
your last 2 weeks?
I mean, I've been living life.
Yeah.
You know,
Feeling free.
feeling free.
Rooting for the Bruins. I heard you saw a game
True.
the other day with Jenna
So
and
we
John.
did. Yeah, we did go into Boston to watch the Bruins lose, which is, I mean, you know, going to a hockey game in person is fun, obviously. But they lost. They played 5 games at home, and the only one they lost was the one we went to. So that's all right. It's not playoffs yet. It doesn't really matter. But that was fun. And Uncle, I do have a note here in front of me. This was from a week ago, so I'm hoping you're going to remember this.
Did you
but
say a week girl or a week ago?
a week ago,
Okay.
Logan
A weak girl.
Logan sent me a note because I wasn't home. It was last weekend, actually. He's like, Uncle has something to tell you, something to talk about on the podcast. He said it's his worst dream ever. And I said, does Uncle need to provide us with notes so we can remember to remind him about this worst dream next week? And he's like, no. He said he woke up in sweats and that there's no possible way that he's going to forget this dream. So do you, in fact, remember this dream that you had last
Yes.
weekend? What is it?
I ran over somebody with my car. And he woke up and he went after me after he died.
Oh, it would have been
Where?
scary if he was dead, right?
Whoa. So you
Like The Walking Dead
you
or...
took him out and then he
No, no, no.
as a zombie or a ghost? What are we talking?
It was just like, why the blank did you do this? And he was just angry that he died.
Yeah, but so he was a ghost.
So he haunted you?
Kind of.
So you got haunted by a man you ran over.
But it was a ghost, not like Casper the Friendly Ghost. This was like a real living ghost.
But was he like crossing in front of you? Like, how did this go down? How did it just hit him like
Your
that?
mom, the psychologist, said dreams come in a flash, but they're really long dreams.
But you don't remember how you did it?
No, I never had such a terrible dream that I killed somebody by accident.
You don't remember how you
killed somebody on purpose, yes, but not by accident.
Okay, so you
That's
Jesus,
foul.
That is a little foul.
Yeah.
So you don't remember? Was this guy like walking off the sidewalk and you
I
just
just
like
think
pieced
I
him
probably
up? Like,
passed out from too much overtime driving, and I ran him over.
so you were asleep behind the wheel and just slammed. That's really feels like very real world situation. All right, well that's a very nice light note to start the podcast.
Have you taken anything from that? Any learnings?
Yeah, be aware of your surroundings.
Maybe
And don't drive in front of human beings crossing the street.
cut back on the overtime a little bit.
I
and
did.
Take care of your mental.
I was supposed to have 32 hours with tonight. I said the podcast is more important than any type of monies thrown my way.
Aw.
Yeah, I would have made $250 today. I said, I don't care what it is, $1,000. The Powerball, I would think twice about that. But.
So this is not just to transition a little bit
Okay,
off
sure.
this nice dark start we've got. So I'm not gonna bury the lead. The best root beer brand. Sorry, I'm getting off topic here.
Easy.
This is one that's this is okay. I'm talking about we did Wheels versus Doors last week. That's what I'm thinking of. This is this week's. Apparently, people are like big on like the best root beer brand right now, and I just want to know if anyone has opinions on that.
A&W.
A&W. Jenna's quick with it. Jenna's gonna have to have the mic though if she wants to give us her opinion. So
Go ahead.
So when I first heard this question, my answer was immediately A&W. But wait, the IBC bottled root beer is top tier. That is
like the real root.
Correct. That is the one.
Is that the same company that makes like the cream soda and stuff? And
orange soda?
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think a bunch
Easy.
of them have like cream sodas too.
Yeah.
I
you
think
can get that at the local Antonio's Pizza on Thayer Street.
A&W, they still have at least one still kicking around in Rhode Island, like an actual restaurant, like out in Smithfield area.
Yeah, in Smithfield.
Smithfield, yes.
Yeah. So I've actually been there, and that's pretty solid.
They have
We haven't been there.
pretty god awful food, but
There's one on the Cape that, like on Cape Cod, that has not, I think, is still there.
So I can see IBC as well. I think Mug's trash. I don't know whoever's team
Yeah.
Mug needs to figure it out. To
It's
be
just
honest,
too sugary.
it just feels like sugar
Tastes
and
like
like
fake.
with root beer flavoring. So the list here, just so if anyone has one that might jog their memory, A&W, is it Barks? Is that how you
Barks,
say it?
yeah.
The
Yeah,
Barks?
B-A-R-Q.
Like a
I think.
dog.
It's just Q and then apostrophe S. Dads. Has anyone heard of that before?
No.
no.
I haven't heard of some of these. Goose Island? I
No.
thought that was an
Nope.
IPA.
So did I.
Yeah, Goose Island's a brewery, but maybe they
No, but I think there's also
root
these
beer.
are all national. IBC, Mug, Sioux City, and
like
Sprecher.
Dakotas.
Yeah, I don't know. A couple of these I had never heard of before.
I only know of like
I saw this
4
list
of them.
online, so I don't know. But I mean, I think IBC, like Barks, A&W, Mug, like those are the ones that everyone knows, and I think it's got to be like A&W or IBC.
Could be on the West
That's
Coast.
what I would go.
All right, well, that was a fun little thing.
I would say, I mean, I'm not much of a root beer connoisseur myself. I'm not a huge fan of root beer in general. Sorry, everyone.
But you know what it tastes
I'm a
like.
big Dr. PP stan.
I mean, sure.
But I would say, like, I feel like a lot of root beer now is emerging as kind of like these local, like, craft
Yeah.
root beers. Like, I know there's this place up in Maine. I think it's actually called Maine Roots. And they make a lot of nice, like, homemade sodas. And I've had their root beer before, and it's pretty good. So
There's
I
one
feel
in
like you're
Rhode
seeing
Island, too.
more of those kind of crop up. I mean, obviously, you still have the big, like, national brands, but I think that's where it's at. You got to get that
I can't.
that
And I'm,
homegrown.
Root beer was my like go-to soda if I was like when I was a kid going out to dinner. Root beer was like always what I got, and I could literally like distinguish whether it was Mug or Barks because I liked Barks but I didn't like Mug, and I could always like distinguish between the two. But the only time that I ever had the IBC root beer was that my grandmother would keep it in like her basement fridge of her house, and like only when we went to Nana's did we have the IBC bottles of root beer. And it was so good, and I felt like such an adult because it looked like a beer bottle. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm a baddie.
I
Whatever.
wasn't expecting you to unlock such a memory with this conversation, to be honest.
Root beer
I
also
wasn't
comes
sure.
in candy flavors. I like
Oh, like
root beer
those
candy.
I mean,
barrels?
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Right, those are nice.
I could eat 3 of them at one
The
time.
little candy, like a little mug, like the little barrel. You ever seen those? Yeah. It's a root beer brand that makes those, right? Isn't it one of the brands?
That's addictive.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's
All
a
right,
Dick's.
It
we
might
may get
be
back to that, but-
A&W. I don't know.
Have you ever had a root beer popsicle?
Yes.
The
those are
hood
good.
ones?
Maybe. I don't know
Oh
if
my
it's
god,
hood.
iconic. Iconic.
What
root beer
Maybe we
floats
could
though?
look it up and
Oh, yeah,
Google
sure.
someplace to go someday. Try
Yeah.
root
So,
beer float or
what does root
something.
beer mean to you, Uncle? Did you have any experiences with it? Was it something you had a lot?
I had a sugar tooth since I was 5 years old.
Oh, we know that.
I could drink
Sugar
6
tooth.
Cokes in junior high school. And
They
Mellow
called me
Yellow and
Sugar
Mellow
Tooth.
Yellow came out. We had that vending machine hooked up, 25 cents.
You should have been a poster child for like
Mellow Yellow is
root
like
beer growing up. Soda.
like a Mountain Dew alternative,
Yes,
right?
it came out in the 80s. When I was
So it preceded Mountain Dew, or was Mountain Dew already a thing?
I'm sorry, it came out pre-80s because I was in junior high in 78, 77, 76.
75,
75.
74, 73. I spent a lot of time
All
in
right.
junior
Well,
high.
we don't need to spend too much time on this.
Okay.
I think we're going to bury the lead a little bit if we
Okay.
don't. We're gonna now talk about what I called the slap heard around the world, which happened last Sunday at the. Yeah, we potentially might be the podcast title, which is the slap that Chris Rock received from Will Smith at the Oscars, right? Grammy. Which one the fuck is it?
Oscars.
I can never remember. I'm not a big like award show guy. Grammys is tonight, right?
Grammys are music.
Yeah, that's music, and then Oscars is the movie one.
It was the Grampies.
Yeah. So
Grampy Oscar.
obviously, if anyone hasn't
The
seen this by now,
Groscars.
then they're probably living off the grid. I don't know how you missed it, but we're gonna get our thoughts on it. I want to hear from Uncle first. You've seen this, Uncle? I'm assuming you've at
I
least.
saw it, not visually, just
You still haven't actually seen it yet.
written down on the internet. I think they should just
Jenna's
kiss
gonna
and
pull it
make
up
Roll
for
clip.
you.
Kiss and make
I
up.
saw it, but like not visually.
Not a
So
physical
this might
kiss.
be a
Felt
fun
it.
Read
way
it
to-
on the interwebs.
I wore the perfect earrings for this. If anyone would like to.
Oh my God.
The slaps.
Those are called the Smiths.
The Smiths.
The Wills, if you will.
So Jenna, this is actually a good
you will.
opportunity to have Uncle's
you
like live
will.
reaction on
The
camera. to
Wills,
actually
if you
seeing it.
may.
No.
Live reaction. Here we go.
I sent them to you on Twitter. Do you have?
Okay.
Oh.
But the
You need the version
I
from
I sent you two to-
Japanese
well-
no,
TV.
but look, babe, the uncensored
wife's
name out your
mouth.
mouth. No.
It was
So-
a G.I. Jane joke.
No, look, it says content not available. The Japanese
Oh, it's
one
gonna
that
be
you
down.
sent to me,
How dare they? All right.
the uncensored version, but
So should we provide some context for this, some background?
Sure. Uncle probably needs that, right, Uncle?
I guess.
Do you not know? Do you know why he did that?
Yeah, because G.I. Jane was Demi Moore's movie. She played a G.I. Jane woman in the army.
But what?
She was bald. They shaved
Bald.
her.
Sure, that's important context as well. For those of you who are unaware.
And you heard the
of
joke
G.I.
about
Jane.
what he made. What the
Yes.
joke was. Okay.
He's
so then
waiting
you
for
know.
G.I. Jane twice. Two.
Two.
John,
Two.
you can
Yes.
So yeah, basically the larger context around Jada Pinkett Smith is that she has a medical condition called alopecia, which causes you to kind of prematurely lose your hair. So that was why she had gone bald, because I guess she had been dealing with this for a while, and then I guess just decided to take it all off.
She looks
And-
good.
Yeah, she does. Soft baddie smiles and all. But yeah, so whether Chris Rock was aware of this condition that she had or not, I guess is kind of secondary. But he made a joke while he was hosting about how he was, as you said, excited for G.I. Jane 2, and he was like making a crack at Jada. And then initially you see the cameras pan to her and Will's like laughing, and then you see Jada like in the background like rolling her eyes, and he must have like looked over at her and saw that she wasn't having it. So then he gets up on stage and, as
And he just
Chris
goes-
Rock put it, slapped the shit out of him. And then he walks back to his seat, and then like obviously Chris Rock is like reeling from the slap, whatever, and he's trying to just like continue with the hosting. And then Will's
wife's
name. Will's yelling at him from his seat. He's like, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." And Chris Rock is like, "It was a G.I. Jane joke." And then he repeats it. He's like, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth." Chris is like, "I'm
So
going
aggressive.
to." And then he just kind of like, whoa, you can tell he's all flustered because he was supposed to be presenting an award for like best documentary or best docuseries. And he was kind of like fumbling through his words after that because he was like obviously shook up.
Well, the initial reaction was like whether it was real or not. 'Cause
Right.
obviously
Yeah.
something like that seems like it would have to be staged, right? But
yeah.
My
A lot of
dad's
people were
still a hater.
speculating that it was just like a scripted thing.
It's come out since then. It's very clearly not.
Right.
Will Smith has since, I think on Friday, resigned from the Academy. I don't really know what that means so much, but he's also said, I mean, I think it was one of those things where he was either going to resign or be forced to, you know, or be kicked out.
He still might lose his Oscars.
Interesting.
And he is potentially facing other supplemental discipline from them because of that.
Does somebody have to
I
check
mean,
the
I do
timer?
think that a revocation,
Okay, good.
if that's how you say that, of his Oscar is a bit of an extreme measure, because I think that's kind of secondary to the issue. But I do think that it sets an unacceptable standard for him to just get up there and like assault someone and then be able to just sit back down, accept his Oscar 40 minutes
Kanye
later.
style.
And then he's giving a speech about how he tries to be like a vessel of love, and he's like all broken up on stage and he gets like a standing O, and it's like, yeah, that's all well and good, and like I've been a fan of Will Smith, but it
But
just
hey,
yeah, I
Remember
mean,
what
whether
happened?
you know, obviously it's an off-color joke that clearly didn't land well. And yes, maybe Chris is in the wrong for that, but I don't think it excuses the behavior. But it's a very like controversial. People are very like polarized on it. They're like Team Chris or Team Will. Like good for Will for like standing up for his wife or whatever. So yeah,
I saw the benefit of all of this was that there were a lot of good memes that came out of this on Twitter, and one of the first tweets I saw was like, oh, so like someone could have gone up and slapped Ricky Gervais this whole time, because Ricky Gervais, I believe, used to be like the main host of
really
the
raunchy
Oscars.
too, yeah.
The main host of the Oscars, and if you don't know him, he is a very raunchy person who is like constantly just crossing the line, you know, for better or for worse. And it was just funny because someone, you know, was like, we should have slapped him instead of Chris Rock.
I think like in a lot of people were talking about this within the context of like comedy more generally, and how it establishes a dangerous precedent for events like this. Like if you can go and assault someone in such a visible way with millions of people watching, then like what's to say that like someone performing at a local like comedy club, you know, doesn't like get walked up on and like assaulted because they make, you know, a joke that someone feels across. Like it's just when something that visible happens and it's kind of like there's no immediate like recourse really, and Will's just allowed to go about his business and sit back down like nothing happened and then get awarded his Oscar. Again, I think that piece of it is kind of secondary. Like it's not as if he didn't earn the Oscar, but I just, you know, it establishes a kind of a scary precedent.
Yeah, so
Mr. Tony, I'd like to hear your opinion on all of it and who you think is in
I've been doing
the
too much talking.
who you think is in the right and who's in the wrong.
I think Will Smith was right to say what he said about keeping his, you know, opinions to himself, but I don't think he should have got up and slapped him. But it was just a spur of the moment thing. It's not like something was planned and rehearsed. It's just he reacted, part of his brain cells, without thinking.
Yeah, like I think
Like when you flip somebody on the highway that's speeding and cut you
Yeah.
off, you know.
But I think if it had like ended at him like yelling at Chris from the audience and that was the extent of it, like I think he's well within his bounds to say that. Because I think, yeah, you get up there and you're hosting and it's like part of the nature of it is that like people think they can say whatever they want. And that's kind of like the job. But it's like, okay, I understand Will being upset about it, but like it just crosses a line that feels like,
I mean, you've seen
Shouldn't
like
have been.
roasts of celebrities and things too. Like some of the jokes are like very, and I guess if you're doing a roast, like you're accepting the fact that you're going to get brutalized, I guess, on stage by a bunch of comedians. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't know what you expect. This happens to everyone. And honestly, kind of what he said about the joke is like, yeah, I get it. You're making fun of her medical condition. I'm assuming he probably knew about it in advance of the joke anyway and still made it anyway. I don't know if that's entirely true. But at the same time, it's like,
I will say I didn't know that Jada had alopecia.
I mean,
before,
and she's generally
before this
known
show.
for having like relatively short hair anyway, right? So it's
yeah.
not like it was a massive, and I know,
And I just don't think that it was like a well-known thing around for everybody. And I think that also part of the reaction against Chris Rock had to do with the fact that, you know, it is a medical condition and it's not something that she can help. But like, you know, I just don't really think, like, in my opinion, like that reaction is only coming after the fact of you learning that it's like a medical condition. It's like, well, if she had just like shaved her head, then like it would have been a fine joke. And maybe that's what Chris Rock intended it to be, but I mean, obviously I don't know his intentions, but like ultimately either way, I just don't think the joke was like
worthy of getting pimp slapped on stage of the Oscars. Yeah.
Yes. Getting, what's it called? Slapped, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and I didn't remember this, but Chris Rock hosted like a portion of the Oscars back in 2016, and he made a crack about Jada back then as well. So that's, I think, part of the additional context around it is like there's been this kind of like tenuous relationship with them. And then obviously like you said, all the memes broke like immediately after this happening, and a lot of people were attributing it to like Will feeling like he needed to make this display of like, I don't know, like assertion and like stand up for his wife, because a lot has been made of like their relationship, and they have kind of like this ethically non-monogamous kind of situation going on, I guess, where they are married, but
There's
they
a whole lot of information.
see other people. Yeah, I know this is
a lot of big. There's a lot of big words you put in there as well.
Yeah. But like, and like that's all well and good. Like if that works for you in the context of your relationship, great. Like that's your prerogative, and you should be able to do what you want. But I think when people are so public like that, people are going to talk about your relationship, and I think part of that was like people were speculating that Will, like, I don't know, like felt emasculated, whether he like should have or not, and that's part of the reason that he like reacted the way he did, because he felt he needed to make a show of like support for his wife. I don't know. I'm again
Also,
a lot of additional layers.
yeah.
to it,
Also,
but-
like Jada does have a show called Red Table Talk that she hosts with her mom, and sometimes it has to do with, you know, other celebrities, like Olivia Jade was on it regarding the whole like college admission scandal, and like they kind of gave her a platform to like speak her truth and tell her side of the story of everything that happened. Her mom, Lori Loughlin, whatever. Not getting into that, but another aspect of the show that they use it for is also like their own family stuff, which like Willow has been on it in the past.
She like is constantly featured on it, isn't she?
Will and Jada had like a sit down discussion about that, about their open relationship and her like interaction with another guy in the past, and it's just a little odd to me. So I don't really blame Chris Rock for going after people who already make an effort to make their life so public.
Like very intimate parts of their life, very public.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. We won't drag this out. We're gonna take a very quick camera intermission, and we're gonna go on to the next conversation.
Pour
so
some
just stay
ice water
tuned.
on Uncle.
Yeah, we're gonna slap Uncle around a little bit.
pour some sugar on him. They called me Sugar Tooth back in middle school.
All right. Well, Uncle, I'm gonna start this conversation with you. I think this is a perfect question for you. Are you ready for it?
I guess.
How many cows worth of beef have you consumed in your life?
Cows worth of beef?
This is a question I came up with on my own last night.
Yeah, but I don't eat every portion of a cow.
Okay. So I'll give you a couple quick facts.
Okay.
A bull, and apparently the meat comes from both of them. This is something I also learned last night in this frenzy of studying I did.
That's not.
No.
Oh.
Stop. I like that joke, Uncle. That was good. A bull weighs 2,400 pounds
Okay.
on average, and a cow, which is the female, weighs 1,600 pounds.
Okay.
So my question, Uncle, obviously you don't eat every part of the cow. You're not eating the bones. You're not.
No.
You're not eating the tail. I mean, maybe you are.
Just
I
like
don't know.
the kind that makes burgers and steaks, right?
Yeah.
And hot dogs.
I'm just saying how many. So if you
Well,
want
hot
to
dogs from a
say
pig.
Like how many
pounds of
pounds
meat,
of beef
yeah, have you
Can-
eaten?
equivalent
Can I
to
have
a cow have
at
you
least
eaten?
45 seconds to think?
Does anyone have an immediate answer on this?
I would say at least 1,600 because a quarter pounder is a quarter pounder. And I used to have quarter pounders 7 days a week when I was not feeling...
Seven days a week?
7 quarter pounders a week, sometimes 2 in a day or 3.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So
Uncle was on Super Size
McDonald's-
Me before
yeah.
he was even on Super
McDonald's
before
knew
Super
me
Size Me
by
was even
my
a
first
thing.
name. Excuse me.
So that would be six.
That's 2 1/4.
Uncle, if you've had 6,400 quarter pounders, then you would have had 1,600 pounds worth of meat in my math. There.
Well, not every day, but like
Right. Multiply 1,600 by 4. That's
when Five Guys opened up, I was there twice a day for like 1 year.
so. How many
And
cows do you
I
think that
gained,
equivalent?
I
No way.
weighed 200 pounds.
Uncle looks like a 2 cow kind of guy for me. You
Yeah,
think?
I was at
Two
Five
cow
Guys
guy?
at
Two
least
cow?
4 years straight without missing a day.
Didn't they eat cow tongue in the old country?
Yes.
How many cow tongues do you think you've eaten?
I've tried it once, and it's a delicacy.
Oh,
It looks
was
like
it
chopped
delicacy
cube
for you?
steak.
chopped.
It
cube
is
steak.
delicious.
Mm.
But you
It's
only-
very hard to marinate and create,
You've
but
only had it once, though?
it's worth the wait. Not by my mom, who was a professional. Her sister said, "Please, before you die, you got to try this," and I loved it.
Are you talking with your eyes closed?
Uncle looks zooted right now.
He's thinking about it. He's
Well, I'm glad he's
imagining that tongue
That cow tongue.
Yeah.
It's
My
like
mouth.
That tongue
eel
just-
and
mixing with his tongue. Wait, what?
pig's feet and pig's ears.
Peter, it's time out.
That cow tongue mixing with his tongue.
He's got his eyes closed. He's just.
He's just
And
really
don't even get me
visualizing.
started at Burger King. Burger King, I would eat like 8 Whoppers in a week when I was oppressed.
So how many cows do you think that equivalates
you were
to?
oppressed?
Is that a
I'd
word,
say-
equivalates?
I'd say at least 1 cow in my
That's
life.
definitely what he said.
Oppressed.
Equals?
Sorry, we should.
I would feed my stomach with food.
As opposed to
Yes.
My doctor said if I don't cut it out, I won't live to be 60.
what? All right, well, you're almost there, so.
I have cut back now.
Yeah.
Haven't been to Burger King in like 3-4 weeks.
That's pretty good.
Does anyone else have an idea of how many cows they've eaten in their lives?
I think I'm a 1 cow guy.
I think I'm like, probably. Uncle feels like a 2 or 3 cow kind of guy to
Yeah.
me.
I would have to really sit down. and do this
6,400 though.
math.
That's a lot of burgers.
I
But then you're talking about ribs, steak, other things. So it's like,
feel
Well,
like
you're not eating beef
we've
ribs, though.
Yeah.
eaten
That's
a lot
pork.
more beef than we think
American chop suey.
in our lifetime.
ground beef, yeah, tacos and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think vegans are gonna like to hear this part, but
yeah. I feel like my pescatarian days
So we were putting a
heavily
vegan trigger
My
warning on this.
Episcopalian days.
driven my cow down. But now
Darian's a half
Downward
cow kind
cow.
of girl to me, I think.
like
I mean,
meatballs,
yeah,
I love
but
meatballs.
I like steak, but I only have it so often.
Uncle's also
so.
afforded the ability of being on this earth a solid 30 years more than anyone else here.
Yeah.
So.
And your mom used to make this great spaghettios heated up from the can with meatballs. It was awesome.
They're so good.
SpaghettiOs are,
Yeah.
they're up there.
Not the
I
plain
like 'em.
ones, the ones with the meatballs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used
Awkward
to
silence.
exclusively eat SpaghettiOs for dinner.
Yeah,
when I
that
was a
makes
kid.
sense to me.
You're such an
That
ass.
tracks.
That checks.
No, because it's well documented that Jenna was a problem child.
Jenna's oppressed.
Is it well documented?
Okay, I should say a problem child encompasses a lot of things. You were.
Yikes.
I was one.
What were you?
Oppressed.
I've heard from your family members that you were always the bitch. I heard.
Jeremy,
As a kid-
Jeremy.
that
as-
term is
and
not
then-
very PC.
and
these
then
All right,
days.
podcast over.
And then I heard
Cut
that
the
you've grown. I
cameras.
mean, I know, because when I heard this, I was shocked. I was like, my Jenna, the bitch as a child.
Oh yeah.
And then, and then they're like, well, she grew out of
My
it after
Jenna?
she got to a certain age. And I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. So like everyone's got that lone little kid. That's a
Okay,
problem.
look, I didn't like to wake up early. I was a brat when I had to wake up early for my brother's 6 a.m. hockey games.
That hasn't changed.
My mom, no, it's not. No, it has not, John.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're a brat, Jenna. I think you're great.
Jeremy's just trying to cover his tracks.
Seth,
I don't understand this roasting of me
I'm
on a
not.
regular. You just called me a.
I
Jeremy's
heard you were. I didn't call you
projecting.
were.
God.
I didn't call you one. I heard
Jeremy's
that's what-
projecting.
Anybody that would wake me up at 6 o'clock in the
Jeremy's
morning where I didn't want to go.
Yeah, you want to talk
I
about
would be
problem
PO'd.
children? Okay.
I was fine.
Yeah, we. Jeremy
Power
is
Jeremy had
Rangers.
some anger issues.
by no means free of the problem child moniker growing up. He and our father, Papa John, used to beef. You want to talk about
You know,
beef?
he's not exactly Gandhi, so
They were beefing.
You want
They
to talk
used to
about
beef.
wrestling on
They
the
beefed
kitchen
They
floor?
still
recently.
beef.
They were beefing like last month.
Jeremy has a scar on his eyebrow from it.
yeah, but that was just because I slipped on a magazine.
Yeah,
when I was, like,
context
3.
is important there.
Sure
folks.
you did.
Right. Most of the fighting that happened was between me and Jeremy. It was like a brotherly thing. Power Rangers, as Uncle likes to call it.
And I
You
would
hear
say
him-
made the best Power Ranger win.
Right.
I would go upstairs and take a nap while they were going at it.
Right.
Uncle was like, I see a conflict and I'm just gonna go to the other room.
Supervisory role.
Hey.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry, Matilda. The boys were playing Power Rangers, but I was asleep. And what he means by that is he went to take a nap when he saw
Well,
us playing Power Rangers.
I don't say the
Uncle's
circle word
infamous
anymore,
naps.
but when I
You
was
just did.
their age, I would have Power Rangers all over my body by these
Excuse
kids
me?
in elementary school.
Pause.
So I had a
this
uh,
is
I had a
getting
moment.
worse and worse.
which I didn't tell
Well,
them. 'cause
that
they were
was
like,
one of the
"Yeah."
more cryptic things you've ever said.
We had Power Rangers
I
in junior
understand
high
what you're
school
saying.
Uncle was-
without
I have
the
no
uniforms.
idea what he's trying to say.
What he's saying is he used to get beatings when he was
Bounced
a kid.
around.
Yes.
Oh, you hear what Tony Sugartooth did today? I'm gonna go give him some Power Rangers.
All over his body.
All over his body. You got pelted with literal Power Ranger figurines.
I was mauled in the school bus.
I was mauled.
Uncle was a
God.
good. You were a good runner, Uncle.
Runner. I was the best.
I was a track
I
star.
could beat your cousin Phil Jr.
Yeah.
I would make it from Fox Point to Nathan Bishop in less than 20 minutes.
Uncle's only alive today because of his running skills.
I would take off my cheap Skippy sneakers and run barefoot.
And incidentally, Uncle, I don't think has run in the past 30 years.
I walked.
Yeah, all that running is
When was
stopped.
the
I've
last
never
time
seen you run in my
ran,
life.
like, truly ran.
I want to see a sprint.
4 years ago, I did the Boulevard in 40 minutes.
You ran
You
it?
ran it though?
Yeah.
You ran the boulevard.
Not run, but like I fast walked.
Oh, okay.
He was walking.
Yeah, you walked at a medium to high pace.
And I got hit by a jogger. She punched me right in the face. It was dark and she couldn't see
She
me.
gave you the old Power Ranger.
And then I said expletives to her.
All right.
Oh.
She punched you in the face. She
With
was
her
just
elbow.
like running by you.
Yeah. And
She punched
sucker
me
shot
in the face with her elbow.
You know, like I'm saying, we went pow.
Pow.
Was she like, oh, that Tony's about to come in 56th place, and I want to come in 56th place?
I think it was just
So
a
I took him out.
classist
What did happen to Jenna?
attack.
Jenna's
She was
taking a
like,
mid-episode pee. It
how
happens every
dare
episode.
this man from Fox Point speed walk the boulevard? Don't you know you're in Blackstone?
Hey, but at least I lived to
I mean,
tell it.
Blackstone's different than
A
Blackstone
lot of
Boulevard,
those sisters and brothers that beat me up are now 6 feet under. So.
Yes, we've heard.
but Why they gotta be sisters
Oh.
and brothers? Never mind. We're not.
They're my
doing that.
students, my
My
coworkers.
students. You
Anyway,
have students?
we're gonna transition here. This has been an enlightening conversation
Okay.
as always. Thank you, Uncle. But we do have an overrated, underrated this week. One that I just figured I'd toss in there, see what people think, because it just came to me out of nowhere. And this week's overrated, underrated for those of us who are coming back from the bathroom is breakfast foods. Breakfast foods. Food specifically. I don't want to hear about drinks. Just
So, are
Overrated.
you gonna present one?
yeah, I should present you guys.
Yeah, why don't
No,
you
I'm
go
gonna do
first?
this.
it's
Okay,
They're
okay,
overrated.
okay.
Why don't
I
you
don't
start
like
this
I'm
breakfast.
gonna
pot?
present. I'm gonna present. Okay. This first one, bacon.
Overrated.
Oof. that was quick.
Overrated. Absolutely
I
overrated.
think it's like
Especially for your arteries.
Normally rated.
accurately rated.
I would have to.
Yeah,
agree.
I mean,
People
it's
praise
definitely not good
bacon.
for you. But
I think it's overrated.
Why?
It just doesn't really like. I get maybe it is just all of the stuff that like they're like Five Guys has a bacon milkshake, like bacon wrapped this and that. I just don't get it. It's not something that I've ever really like. Even like bacon wrapped scallops, like I just don't like. I don't get. It's not it for me.
All
it
right,
does.
fun police.
It does get kind
Fun
of.
police.
No, I know what you're saying. Like it gets kind of lazy. I feel like it's just like, oh, we don't know what to do. Let's
So
just
let's
throw
wrap it
some
in bacon?
on it.
Yeah.
Well, there are some
So-
things where it's like entirely unnecessary. I would say that bacon's one of those things where it's like there are a few only.
bacon.
But I
donuts.
also think that the quality of the bacon matters because, like,
Yes.
if you're just going to the grocery store and getting like pre-cooked bacon, like that sucks. But like when you have really, really like high quality bacon, yeah, like
Bacon.
that makes a difference to me.
Okay.
Buy a bacon, baby.
So you're a big bacon guy, Uncle. You think it's overrated,
Oh, yes.
underrated? You're,
I used to eat at your aunt's house bacon at least 3 times a week.
so you love bacon.
You gotta
I
cut
knew
that
this.
bacon quantity down.
All right, I got another one. Ready? Pancakes.
Overrated.
My godmother would make
Appropriately
these
rated.
awesome
Uncle, up to your mouth.
pancakes that were like as thick as a sheet of newspaper. I'd have like a slapjack, like
No,
6 of them.
So I know what you're saying.
Slapjack.
So Vivard used to make really,
Slapjack?
really thin pancakes.
Yeah.
Very thin.
They were
Very
like,
thin.
they were
They
They're
like
look
crepes.
almost like crepes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll add to this before, I guess, I did just ask the question, but crepes, underrated.
Underrated for
Mwah.
sure.
Chef's kiss. And then
Vivar's
very thin
crepes.
Underrated unless you're French.
Any type of really thin pancake. Otherwise, big pancakes, overrated. Get that out of here.
I will
Don't
say
let Big Pancake hear you.
pancakes. They got to be plain with butter.
That's it.
That's all I need. That's
I
all
think
I
like
need. I'm not a
chocolate
big.
syrup?
chip
What's
pancakes.
I like chocolate
I don't
chip.
really. I don't really.
I like chocolate chip. I
don't really
can't do
mess with
blueberry.
those.
I can't do.
heavily with blueberry.
I can't do
But
any other type of
I
pancake.
think pancakes in general, as a breakfast food, are adequately rated.
I think so too.
Many people like breakfast for dinner sometimes because they can't get enough of it.
I just feel like it like
Are you one of those
a
people?
pancake is like the epitome of like empty calories. It's just like you want a breakfast that's gonna do absolutely nothing for you except fill you up. It's like let's have pancakes.
It's good though.
Like they're
so
good. Like I like pancakes. I just think some people put them on this pedestal. That's you know.
I was
not
always a
justified.
chocolate chip pancake kid, so I love
That's
pancakes.
Chocolate chips will save anything.
Yes,
But so it's kind of
Like
like bacon in
bacon.
that way. Yeah.
that's true.
All right. I got another one too. How about French toast?
Overrated.
I'm honestly thinking underrated on the French toast. I'm a big French toast. It made the right way. You can't. French toast is one of those things that's easy to screw up.
Like a nice like challah bread, like stuffed French toast.
Sweetbread French toast.
Okay. Yep.
Ooh.
Done that too.
Now we're talking.
Portuguese
Your
we are.
grandmother used to dip it in eggs and stuff and
Well,
fry
that's how
it.
you make
That's
it.
how you make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
you
that.
have to put
Yep.
it in an egg wash.
Sweetbread French
Jenna,
toast.
Jenna doesn't look like she's a fan.
Underrated.
That's
Yeah.
overrated, Jenna.
I just don't really like French toast at all.
Yeah.
Like I just like that. If we ever have breakfast for dinner, that's what my dad makes because we usually have like a leftover loaf of bread that's like gonna go bad soon.
Oh, go pull
So-
out the Wonder Bread.
Yeah, so that's like what he'll use. Oh my god, I found a loaf of Hostess white bread at my house. I'm like, Dad, what
Foul.
are you doing? Like, would
That's
you
like the
eat
kind of-
this?
It's the kind of bread you put in water and it just starts to disintegrate.
But
right
anyway,
away?
overall French toast overrated. Never was a fan.
I agree.
Yeah, even my mom makes like a French toast casserole like on like holiday mornings, and I just would rather have a Cinnabon,
Yeah.
like or a Pillsbury cinnamon roll.
I think it's just with some of these things, there's like a whole
Adequately rated.
spectrum to it. Like it's really easy to have like super mediocre French toast, but then if you have like good French toast, it's like a completely different thing.
I had a stuffed French toast from King Street Cafe. It was the best thing I've ever eaten. It was so good.
I've heard of them, but I never had one myself.
That's probably like the only exception.
That's
to
our
my-
go-to hungover after a night at Darian's on
Yeah.
like the 4th of July.
Can
That's
we
like
tell that?
That's
yes,
the cure.
No,
yes.
Jeremy,
I don't think
Should we tell the Jeremy story
Oh
of
my
this?
god!
I don't think we need to.
I would
So
love to.
many.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that
that's
was part
part
of
of
it.
it.
So 4th of July, circa
2019?
2019?
No, it was
No.
later than
18,
that.
19.
Which one are we
Probably
talking
19.
about?
You know,
Pre-Ponda replay.
when
The-
Jeremy had a tubby tub in the morning after puking his
Pre-panorama.
guts out.
Yeah, but what was I even drinking that night?
That
Everything?
was when we were drinking out of the horn.
Oh my god!
That was that
I
night.
had this horn that was like from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant's Bane.
Yeah, the
But
Giant's
anyway,
milk.
anyway.
I
So
was
the
drinking
next
Giant's
morning,
milk that night.
so the
Foul.
next morning, it's me, John, Jeremy, Darian, and I don't think Pete was there. I think it was just the four
This
of
was
us.
pre-Pete.
I think it was just the four of us that went out to breakfast the next day, and we were going to King Street Cafe, which I mean you can Google it if you want. Good luck finding it. I'm sure it's not a unique name, but this particular place, we pull in, we're all getting ready to get out, and Jeremy, who had previously had been puking all morning, was just like not in a good spot, and it was literally like me, John, and Darian, just like I feel like there was someone else with us.
I don't think
But
so.
the three of us got out, and Jeremy's like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in the car and maybe sleep. He just stayed in the car the whole time we were in there eating breakfast.
Yeah.
He was in a bad way that day.
I don't do
Violently.
the 4th of July anymore.
Vomiting.
Because you didn't even
Thank
come in
God.
at all, right? It wasn't.
No, I
like,
stayed in the
No.
car and like napped while you guys went and had breakfast. Yeah. I think I remember waking up and going to like the tub. They have like a downstairs bathroom. There's like one of those tubs with the jets in it, and I just laid in it. There's also I always conflate that with New Year's too because I did that in two
Oh
different.
yeah, Jeremy died.
when was it
Yes.
that was the Pink
when he
Whitney.
drank a whole bottle. Of
Shout out
Pink
Spittin'
Whitney.
Chicklets.
was it
Shout
Jenna
out Ryan
and
Whitney.
Phil that
Oh
like
my
helped you
God.
change your pants?
Stop. All right.
There's a great
Cousin
picture
Phil?
out there
That's not
somewhere.
That's not getting circulated to
and
the
it
internet.
will get circulated.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
insert
can,
it
you
right
can
above
say
my head,
pants
please.
as long as
Nope.
you don't say underwear.
Please.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have the power to not
Jeremy
make that happen.
is
Please post Jeremy.
splayed out.
Put it right here.
Jeremy's splayed out on the Darian's bathroom floor
I slept on a tile
with
floor that
his
night.
like pants to his knees, and he's just raw dog in the toilet. Like you know
Wait,
when, you know when like
No,
the
okay, so now
seat-
this is getting really.
you know like when the seat is up and you are like bare knuckling the toilet bowl. That is what Jeremy was doing.
Jenna, you're not
You
not
know
sharing
you're down
this.
bad
Jeremy
when my
didn't try
father
to-
has to
Jeremy
come up
didn't try to
Yeah.
drink
and
the
help
toilet
him.
You know
water,
you're
did he?
down bad when Phil is helping you change
You're not
your
putting it on the
pants.
camera. Jenna, you're not. Oh my god.
It kind of reminds me.
Can you see it? Let me know.
I can see it. Yep, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Foul.
All right. I don't know why this
that's-
turned into the roast of Jeremy.
He's in the toilet.
How does it feel?
This came out of nowhere. This wasn't in the show notes. All right. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
what's the next topic?
We'll
So I
link
don't
it
really.
for
I
the
don't.
viewers.
New Year's, 4th of July. I'm kind of done with that. I don't drink much at all nowadays. But anyway, so final conversation is Tony's horoscope. How we love
Yes.
to end every episode. And are you ready for it, Uncle?
As ready as I'll ever be.
He's
They're getting
never
better
ready
and
for it.
better.
They seem to relate to you every time, which is interesting. Which I guess is, I don't know. I guess
And
you
that's
can
on
make
astrology.
anything relate to anyone. But all right. So
Astronomy.
here we go. April 3rd, 2022 for Libra. You're anxious to make a bold move toward the love of your life, Libra. Love and romance are most certainly in your favor right now. It isn't surprising that you feel brave. Be careful, however, about getting so carried away with your self-assurance that you distort the truth of the situation. There's an element of fantasy operating that's making it difficult for you to see the whole picture.
This is scary.
Let's go, Tony.
Because somebody gave me a Christmas present yesterday.
What? It's
Yes.
April 3rd to be
I
specific.
know, but this person said, I might not see you at Christmas time.
What does that mean?
They just hooked me up with a $20 bill because I was kind of short on cash, and they didn't want me to repay them today. So
Is this
So
the
you
love
think
of
they
your life?
like you?
No, a coworker that supposedly, I guess now, thinks highly of me.
Ooh.
Because
Thinks
I don't work with
highly
them
of
no
you.
more. I'm now an AM person, and I used to be a PM for like 25 years. I miss Darren's birthdays, her special holidays. I miss Jeremy's birthdays, and I was called a greedy for working
Oh,
overtime
Jesus
during these birthdays. But
And then I said, I might be green, but you got the horns, buddy. Is that what you said?
and
to
the
him?
tail to go with it.
There we go.
But that is so
Grow
scary,
the
that
tail.
horoscope, because it's like,
It's a lot of love stuff.
So
Uncle.
do you
I
have
know.
the eyes for anyone? Is that person what
Darian.
you were referring to?
I don't know what this came from, because this person never made any innuendos or any links to me until yesterday.
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
All right. Well, maybe something comes of it. I feel like
You
the
gotta be
last three
bold.
have been about Uncle's future.
Love life,
Yep.
or lack of.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can lack on many things, and something will unlack you after.
We all need a little unlacking here
To
and
lack
there.
or to be lacked.
We all have needs.
And so is the end
Unscrew
of
me.
episode of 11 with everybody minus Logan, who is in a play at right now. Hey, Logan.
That's Uncle's shout out to Logan.
Logan's a real patron of the arts these days. We're trying to get him into the arts program
At
Hendricken.
RISD.
Sure, at RISD. That'd be great. We'll see. He's a real funny kid.
Logan seems more like an MIT kid to me. He just seems so.
He said he wants to be
Maybe
a
he'd
teacher.
be like a
Oh,
janitor
really?
at MIT that ends up like
Jenna's gonna be like, no,
solving
you don't.
problems on.
No, you
on
don't. No, you don't. Go to Bridgewater and then
Logan,
get your degree after like seven
Bears,
and a half
bears,
years.
bears.
Logan's gonna be that.
Because they don't make it possible for you to get your degree.
Logan's gonna
without-
be that guy that's a janitor at MIT. He's gonna walk into a classroom and solve a problem on a board, and everyone's gonna wonder who did it. And the next thing you know, he's gonna be, you know,
Don't
Logan doesn't know how to clean a damn thing.
yeah,
He's
don't
not gonna
put
be a
Logan on
friggin'
that
janitor.
on that
Not that there's anything wrong with
that
that.
pedestal. You know, all right. Janitors are needed everywhere, but I think Logan's more intelligent than a janitor.
Squidward.
That was one of my first jobs
You just
after high school.
roasted all janitors.
I was a janitor at a local hospital on the east side of Rhode Island.
Oh no, I just roasted Tony.
Wow.
It was more of a
Peter's
reference to Good
openly
Will Hunting,
anti-janitor.
And I won the award
Oh
for the
yeah,
best
I caught that.
janitor they ever saw.
this has been episode 11
Tony Custodian.
of Tony's Talks the Pot.
See you after
Tony
Easter.
Sugartooth Custodian.
We'll be seeing
really
you
gets
after,
the grime
after
and grit out
Easter.
of there.
Because 2 weeks from today is the Easter.
Oh, is your sugar tooth acting up? Get ready for that
What
Easter
did,
candy.
what did you give up for Lent, Uncle?
This-
4-letter words. But then
That stopped real quick.
that stopped the day after I gave it up.
Wait, but circa's not a 4-letter word.
No, but poop is.
I've stopped pooping for Lent.
All right. This has been episode 11. Episode 11 of the Tony's Talks.
Thanks for
podcast.
watching.
Tony's Talks the
Bye.
podcast. We'll talk to you next time.
Cheers,
Bye.
friendos.
Bye.